Organised crime has moved into our financial markets.
They steal share lists from companies and they just go through the list and see if they can get people to buy. Shares are of no value, and then that's it, the funds are gone. In the simplest form, it's just straightforward theft.
Thousands of victims across Britain have lost their livelihoods.
Started with £10,000–20,000, but I've lost hundreds of thousands of pounds.
The most vulnerable are the prime targets.
How much are we looking at in total?
142,000.
Tonight, the City of London police investigate a gang making millions.
We've got to take out the people who are organising it, the people who are actually achieving the profit from it.
Armani's D&G boss talking about £60,000 or £70,000 worth of property.
It is a luxury lifestyle. Lifestyle of fast cars, luxury homes, travelling anywhere he wants around the world without a thought for money.
That's it. Go, boys.
Have a car.
So he's arrested for...
Conspiracy to defraud.
And what do you do for a job?
I'm currently unemployed.
Sorry?
I'm currently unemployed.
I'll wash your money in £1,000 in his pocket and he's done nothing to work for it.
The UK is a hostile environment for fraudsters. Do not come here and commit your crime.
We're arresting a guy that we've been after for 3 months now. We believe he's been involved in selling fake shares. He's just arriving back from a round-the-world trip with his girlfriend, which we believe has been financed as a part of his fraud.
Daniel Clifford, I'm arresting you on suspicion of committing fraud by false representation. Do you have anything to say to me?
I'm bang out of order.
Okay.
Fijian.
32-year-old Daniel Clifford has deceived a vulnerable pensioner into giving him £1.2 million.
You've been involved in selling shares in a company that has a non-existent value, and that's the allegation.
Okay, well, it's an allegation.
Clifford was later found guilty of conspiracy to defraud and receives a 5.5-year sentence. But there are others lining up to take his place.
Okay.
Fraud is the new goldmine for criminal gangs. 3.2 million people in Britain have become victims. Organised crime's latest enterprise is to con people into purchasing shares in companies that don't exist.
They steal share lists from companies and they just go through the list and see if they can get people to buy. Shares are of no value, and then that's it, the funds are gone. In the simplest form, it's just straightforward theft.
Victims are cold called by brokers who use high-pressure sales techniques and intimidation.
They will bleed people dry. They will keep on pressurising them until they've got absolutely everything that they can.
The gangs run their operations from Spain, calling from anonymous offices known as boiler rooms, based on the Costa del Crime.
There are tens of thousands of victims of this kind of crime out there across the UK. I believe that the sums involved are millions and millions of pounds.
The City of London Police have a specialist department tackling fraudsters nationally and internationally. They have identified 1,200 boiler rooms, making criminals over £300 million per year.
The harm it's causing is absolutely massive. We have had people that have committed suicide in boiler rooms where they've lost everything.
The detectives have a new case. Dozens of victims are reporting multi-million-pound losses in 3 fake high-tech companies. A forensic search of bank transfers, overseas accounts and credit card payments has given detectives a paper trail. And that paper trail leads back to one man, 30-year-old George Abreu.
Intelligence suggests George Abreu is temporarily moved from Sweden to Barcelona. It's believed that he's also transported 3 of his vehicles from Sweden to Barcelona. Black Maserati, Bentley Continental and black Ferrari. Funny enough, with 2 yellow stripes on the roof and the bonnet.
I've got the Ferrari, the Continental, and I've got the Range Rover. And with indexes. It's just the Maserati I haven't got.
For DCI David Clark, seizing the £20 million Abreu has made from the fraud is just as important as arresting the man himself.
So far I've linked him with 5 aliases, as well as his real name. But I'd like to see if we can link him with the 2 aliases of Mark Brown and Mark Wilson. I've managed to link him to 13 accounts. However, we're still missing quite a lot of information.
I need to see those figures from you as to what you think at the moment actually we have got wrapped around him.
Yeah, I mean, he's opened up accounts, as we know, in the last week or so. So he's very fluid. You know, you're always going to be playing catch up to some degree.
Despite warnings from detectives, victims are still paying money into Abreu's foreign accounts.
I'm not prepared to wait across 3 or 4 different jurisdictions to identify everything down to a needle in a haystack. Because it's a balance between identifying one more asset for 50 grand and a victim losing 200 grand. And that's the game that we've got to play. Good, thanks everyone. Within the last week I know of one guy who is reinvested again and sent another £3,000–4,000 to buy more shares. It's soul destroying really, and it's something that we're working really, really hard on for try and avoid people investing. And so the longer he's out on the streets operating the boiler rooms, the more chance we've got of people losing money, and I can't tolerate that. I need to close these boiler rooms down and close them down as quickly as I can.
This won't be easy. Abreu's network is truly global. He has laundered his cash through international bank accounts, bought multi-million-pound apartments in Sweden, and has criminal associates working for him across Europe.
He's driving Maseratis and Ferraris. He's got a £4 million house in Sweden. He's got a property portfolio in Spain. I can see millions of pounds moving through his accounts.
It is a luxury lifestyle of fast cars, luxury homes, travelling anywhere he wants around the world without a thought for money.
Detectives cannot stop Abreu's millionaire lifestyle until they have a European arrest warrant. Unfortunately, this takes time.
Global boundaries have almost no meaning for criminal networks. They matter to the police forces, sadly. We have to deal with the legislation, and we're getting better and better at that. But for criminal networks, global boundaries have become almost meaningless.
The victims' statements will be crucial evidence for the warrant. Hundreds of people across Britain have been targeted.
Hi, John. Hi, John. I'm Claire Shilling from the City of London Police.
Financial investigator Claire Shilling has come to Wrexham.
Now, those are all my
I see, the bank transactions.
and oh, there was another funny one that'll interest you.
John Learmonth is a typical victim. He's 91 years old, frail and susceptible to the hard sell of a boiler room fraudster.
And how many shares did you buy in BFS?
30,000.
30,000 shares.
Total cost 36,000.
Okay. Was that the only share certificate you got?
But about a fortnight later, I get Q-Tex on. And he said, you can have a few more shares at £1 each, and we expect them to be £3 when they come to the market. So I had 10,000.
John has been a goldmine for Abruz fraud. He has bought shares in most of the fake companies.
How much are we looking at in total?
142,000.
It's a huge sum of money.
Well, and at my age, it's not so easy to make money. It's given me a shock, you know, this lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I haven't got the same confidence as I had it.
And it's money he can ill afford to lose.
Okay.
John's wife, Sally, a former nurse, is disabled.
Right.
Their savings were there to help pay for Sally's care. As Claire collects copies of the fake shares, John receives a familiar call.
Wrexham 365. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm all right. I haven't had an opportunity to deal with that yet.
Okay, when are you going to be able to do that?
Well, hopefully this afternoon.
It's a call from another boiler room, with another company to sell and another demand.
Right. We do need to get this moving today, Mr. Learmonth. Otherwise it's going to start causing problems. You have to follow it, Mr. Learmonth, as far as I see it. It's transfer your shares, or don't transfer your shares. Now, if you transfer your shares, you're going to be coming out with profit. If you don't transfer your shares, basically you can tear up your shares certificates and put them in the bin now.
Well, it's all right. I've got the situation.
Okay.
Right.
Are you aware about establishing this?
Pardon?
Do you want me to explain it to you, Mr.
No, well, I'll take it then. I have visitors here.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I just think you should make well be on your decision.
Yeah, right. Thank you for the ring.
For your ring in marriage?
Well, I got the gist of that.
Right. But that's nothing to do with this.
It's all part of the same scam. It will be all connected. It will just be the next part of the chain.
Okay, John, well, I'll leave you to it. Thank you ever so much for your time. Nice to meet you.
Criminal gangs share the lists of people they have conned. It leads to repeat victimization.
Been very patient with me.
No, not at all. It's nice to meet you, John, and we'll be in touch to let you know. I sort of look at him as if he was my granddad, really. And, you know, it's a horrible feeling to think that people can take these people for granted and steal money, essentially, from them.
Victims like John are blitzed with bullying phone calls every day.
it's callous and it's calculated, and they hide behind a telephone call, a website, and very rare do they ever come out and actually physically meet their victims.
The City of London police are investigating a multi-million-pound fraud. At the moment, the prime suspect, 30-year-old George Abreu, is out of their reach, moving across Europe. 10 detectives are probing into every aspect of Abreu's life. They have obtained a copy of his wedding video.
This literally just came through yesterday. George with Sarah. I have to say, looks pretty damn young on that, doesn't she?
His bride is a 19-year-old working-class girl from Northumbria called Sarah Robson.
She's, you know, smiling for the camera. She looks like it is the happiest day of her life. To me, and it's only an opinion, of course, but I just don't think George is, I think it's just they playing a part. You know, this fella's a Nigerian immigrant. He's turned up in the UK. He's illegal. He's trying at that very time of the marriage to gain himself a right to remain. And that's what the marriage is about.
He's just doing it to get himself a passport, that's all he cared about.
18 months after their happy day in 2005, Abreu left her. But detectives have discovered they still have a relationship, albeit a working one.
She's helping him with the movement of money, paying him checks, posting items to victims. She's assisting him in the fraud. She's enabling him to commit it and enabling him to continue. So, you know, she's not the mastermind by any means, but without him, he wouldn't be able to operate quite as easily. So she's an important part.
She's a key enabler to the crime, a key enabler. You know, if you haven't got that strand that she provides, then the crime doesn't work.
Six years on, Sarah's life has been transformed by Abreu's money.
She's got a £120,000 house, she's got a brand new Range Rover sat on the drive and a Citroen. She's got a lovely lifestyle for a girl with no financial income.
Detectives have received information that Sarah Robson is flying into London and may be meeting some of her husband's criminal associates.
Today's focus is on subject 2. This is Abreu's wife, Sarah Louise Robson. She is expected to arrive at Stansted Airport this morning on a flight at approximately 8:15 hours. The intention today is to observe subject 2 from the exit of Stansted Airport and evidence her movements, her expenditure, and any use of credit cards or cash payments.
DCI David Clark has detectives covering all the exits.
She's wearing glasses on her head, dark hair, black trousers.
Passengers are just exiting gate 88 at the moment. So we've pretty much got the positions covered, and we'll wait and see what progresses from here.
Maneuvering.
She has got into a car with a man. He is known to the police.
We're going A120 towards Hertford at the moment.
The car heads into Watford town centre.
Where's he gone? He did a left, did he?
The subject is spinning into the 10-year end from my view.
Just collecting some more stuff. There he is. There's his car.
Sarah has checked into a hotel.
Here he is.
But the man driving her is spotted by his car, retrieving some documents.
Well, that's definitely him.
We have a lot of share certificates that go to victims that have been posted in the area that she lives in. That would correspond with some of the flights that she takes and the time that she takes the flights as well.
Sarah spends just 24 hours in the hotel before flying back to Newcastle. The surveillance on her will continue for the coming weeks. The sale of fake shares requires a sophisticated network. Abreu's criminal organisation uses bogus websites, shell offices, glossy brochures, and mass-market emails to convince investors his product is legitimate. It lures in hundreds of British victims, among them accountants, a judge, and even a former policeman. Sheila Wright Hoagland was targeted by another boiler room.
It started with £10,000-20,000, but I've lost hundreds of thousands of pounds, many hundreds of thousands of pounds. Virtually everything I had, and virtually everything my mother had. It's all gone.
The boiler room was offering shares in a genuine gold mining company.
They were very persuasive, they were very persistent. They rang me virtually every day, sometimes at great length. I did ask, I thought, a lot of searching questions, and every logical question I came up with, they had ready at their fingertips, very convincing, and I have to say, logical responses.
Even Sheila's financial consultants were taken in by the fraudsters. They advised her and sent the funds. The fraudsters never bought the shares.
I feel guilty. I feel ashamed that I was taken in. I'm not an unintelligent person, and I said to the police I acted completely out of character in doing this, but they said every single victim has said that, and that's a reflection on, not on the victims so much as on the perpetrators, that they are so cunning. The people who perpetrate this are evil. They're cowardly. I think there must be sociopaths. They obviously don't care about the consequences for anybody.
And the consequences for Sheila are very grave.
Can't pay any bills. I'm going to lose my home. I've been here for 20 years. They've taken our livelihood. We don't know where to turn. We have nowhere to turn now.
Sheila was conned by aggressive sales techniques, sophisticated marketing, and the offer of plausible returns. The same tactics employed by Abreu's boiler room. His criminal associates, who make the phone calls to victims from Spain, are also targets of the investigation. Checks on Abreu's numerous bank accounts have identified frequent payments to certain key individuals.
Okay, subject 4, Mark Andrew Brannan, latest Facebook photograph. He has travelled extensively to and from Spain in the last year. It's always paid for by George Abreu, funny enough, on his credit card. Scott Henderson. We have intelligence, but not evidence at this point in time, that George and Scott have known each other within the boiler room environment for some time. Within the UK, Henderson is key in running the correspondence side of the business. That is receiving checks, paperwork through the post, etc., sent by clients and victims.
Abreu built his criminal network around a group of close friends he met in Northumbria. The best man at his wedding, Sam Hamid, and his friend, Dean Hamilton, formed the rest of his crime family.
It's almost like a wheel conspiracy. George Abreu is at the centre of that wheel, he's the cog. And the spokes go out to various generals, lieutenants, whatever you want to call them, within his organisation. So he drives the individuals to commit the crimes. Not by way of duress of those individuals. They know what they're doing, they know what they're getting up to, and they know what they're involved in.
At present, they're all in Spain. But detectives believe they'll head home for Christmas, presenting a golden opportunity for multiple arrests. Detectives now move to the northeast of England. Northumbria police will help them identify where the suspects will be staying over the Christmas period.
I think as we go down, it's going to be roughly where those two blokes are now.
Some of Abreu's gang are home early. Suspect Mark Brannan is spotted outside his mother's home.
Tuning into the Lifestyle Express. It's difficult to identify the face with a hat on. So it's got like a green beanie hat on. We like those green beanie hats. That is subject 4.
With all the addresses for the suspects located, they will have a Christmas homecoming to remember. And the final piece of the jigsaw has fallen into place. Detectives have intelligence that prime suspect George Abreu is flying into Barcelona today. Armed with a European arrest warrant, James Clancy is waiting for him.
We've got a chance to take out an individual who's made in excess of £20 million in 2 years. George has had a bit of a charmed life the last few years, but hopefully we can put a stop to that.
A clue to Abreu's imminent arrival is in the airport car park. His £150,000 Bentley Continental is waiting for him. 6 hours later, there is no sign of him. Detectives' carefully laid plans are in jeopardy. In 24 hours, they are due to dismantle his criminal organisation, launching multiple raids in Northumbria. If Abreu gets wind of this, he'll disappear.
It's a big risk. Does word get to him? How does word get to him, you know? It's not just about keeping the 12 or 13 we're going to nick in Newcastle incommunicado, that's easy. But it's who knows that they've been arrested, and who knows that they've been arrested that we don't know about, that may let on to Abreu that the game's up. And if he disappears outside of Europe with the European arrest warrant, it makes my life a lot more difficult.
But if they don't act, they risk losing a golden opportunity to take out his gang in Northumbria.
We've got probably until the 3rd of January maximum, and these people are going to be back on a plane out to Spain, committing more fraud and making more people's lives a misery.
It's 5 a.m. The City of London Fraud Squad and 100 officers from Northumbria Police are preparing to arrest 9 suspects involved in a multi-million-pound fraud.
We're here to disrupt and dismantle the OCG under the control of George Abreu by arresting him and his co-conspirators in this force area, other force areas as well, and obviously get him extradited from Spain. In the last year he's accrued £5 million worth of wealth. We say over the last 3 years probably in excess of £20 million.
So the crack will be, once this briefing's finished, if we aim to be out of here as close to 7 o'clock as we can and get the road and aim to be at the formal points for a 7:30 strike.
This type of offending has a devastating impact. Northumbria Police will not tolerate organised crime in its area. We will do whatever it takes to support our colleagues from the City of London Police.
The prime suspect, George Abreu, is still at large somewhere in Europe. Today's arrests must be simultaneous, ensuring no one slips through the net and tips him off. Detective Inspector David Manley is going to arrest Abreu's wife, Sarah Robson.
She's the one who's got a house, she's got a nice car on the drive, and doesn't seem to do anything for a living. So for her, we're looking at laundering and other issues.
Detective Nicola Migia is in charge of arresting Abreu's lieutenant, Scott Henderson. With 9 teams and 100 officers in position, at 7:30 a.m, the strike is called.
Scott, you're going to be arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to defraud. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention one question or something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. I don't want you to make any phone calls at the moment. No, that's not going to be an option.
At Sarah Robson's house, things are not moving so smoothly.
Sarah, can you open up, please?
We've seen her up at the window, so we know she's there.
The worry is she may alert her husband about the raids. The search of Scott Henderson's house is going to be thorough.
Scott, what's going to happen is, we're going to search the house, right? We're going to take everything apart, room by room. Is there anything in the house?
Detectives suspect Henderson is Abreu's head of operations in the UK.
Hello, is Jan there? It's the police.
Go into the kitchen, into the living room. We're all police officers.
Sarah Robson finally opens the door.
We're going to search the whole house.
A lot of people lost a lot of money. Okay, that's why we're going to need to interview.
Where do you think he is?
She tells detectives that she was due to meet Abreu in Sweden at 1 p.m. today. Dave Manley calls Interpol for help.
I need to be able to speak to somebody on the grounds to get him lifted today, otherwise he is going to flee. He's going to flee Sweden because information is pointing in 2 directions as to where George is going to be, but we've got to try to cover the bases because at the moment we are basically dismantling all of his UK network as we speak. So we've got people coming into custody, seizing exhibits, evidence, cars, so it won't be long before he knows, but he's expecting to meet a flight about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock today, and at that point the game's up because she won't be on it, because she'll be in custody here.
Detectives are now playing catch-up. James Clancy heads to Sweden. In 4 hours' time, Abreu will be expecting his wife, but will be greeted by a police snatch squad. In Northumbria, the seizing of Abreu's criminal assets begins. Sarah's house is now the property of the Crown.
She's a young mum, 21, living in the northeast of England, not working, but she's got a house paid for in cash and a big tasty car on the drive, which is an unusual situation for most people.
Her £50,000 Range Rover will be sold at auction. The money repatriated to the victims.
Her world is falling apart. It may be that the reason she's crying is because everything's coming to an end, rather than the fact that she's worried or scared.
At Scott Henderson's house, it's not the assets,
Thanks, sir.
but 3 laptops, which could be the find of the day.
He's just said that there may be some evidence that we're looking for on these. Hopefully lists of companies that are involved and calling lists for people who have been victims.
This evidence could implicate all of Abreu's criminal gang. Nine suspects in total are in custody.
Do you work at the moment?
I have been doing some contractual work for a promotions agency.
Including Mark Brannan, Dean Hamilton, and Abreu's best man, Sam Hamid. These key players were the ones calling the victims from Spain.
All I want to do is really have a bit of a hot debrief and a quick catch-up on what's gone on this morning. Anything significant said on arrest, anything significant from the search, and anything that might alter or affect anyone else's interview. Mark Brown.
He did say that one of the laptops that we've taken was his work-related laptop from Spain, and on that laptop there is a spreadsheet with regards to all of the investors and the investments that they've made. He offered that out without there being any problems whatsoever, so he seemed quite talkative at the moment.
Good. Scott Henderson?
Basically straight away pointed out the laptop, 2 USB sticks and a mobile, which he told us would have all the evidence that we were looking for.
Excellent. I have to say...
Abreu's criminal network is collapsing around him. But time is running out to get the man himself. Hundreds of people in Britain have been targeted by a multi-million-pound share fraud. The City of London police have 9 suspects in custody. And from Scott Henderson's flat, they have just uncovered some crucial evidence.
That is absolutely superb. That is the one thing I wanted today, which we didn't have, was some of the print side of the job. Where were the share certificates? Where were they getting printed up? And who was in control of them? So, for me, that is superb evidence.
Lists of what appears to be investors' amounts that they've
fantastic.
invested.
Brilliant. Just a whole book full of them, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to add to our victim list, isn't it? They're the glossy brochures that would be sent out to prospective investors. So that is absolutely superb. That's brilliant. Where's Dave? Superb, isn't it?
Couldn't get any better, really.
And that was from an address that really wasn't significant.
No, it wasn't. No.
But the old 6 cents kicked in. Can't buy it, can you?
The fake certificates are a key component of the fraudsters' toolkit, which trick the victims into believing they are buying real shares in real companies. Detectives Lightwood and Shipman arm themselves with the evidence for their interview. It doesn't go unnoticed by Scott Henderson, and leaves him little room to manoeuvre.
He's offered to tell us the full ramifications of what he's done and give us all the information in relation to that, but he's not prepared to tell us about the information of other people and name certain people on tape, but he's prepared to talk to us off the tapes, which I'm not keen on doing. I told him I want it on tape, and I want all of it on tape. Okay, we'll go see if there's a spare room.
There's no deal to be done. Henderson is a key orchestrator of the fraud. In his second interview, he owns up to his role, but refuses to name his criminal associates.
He's accepted that he's preparing the certificates, he's been putting them through a printer. He has also discussed the fact the reason why he was sending the certificates from England was because it made them look more authentic. And he's also admitted that George Abreu's up to no good and that he's committing fraud and ripping off old people.
What's your occupation?
Telesales. None of the other suspects are giving much away. Detectives will need to get further evidence against them. Catching Abreu is the key to breaking the whole case. Detective James Clancy is en route to Sweden, but time has run out. Abreu was due to meet his wife at the airport 2 hours ago. He must realize something is up. Using his wife as bait may be the only way to catch him.
Although we're trying everything we possibly can for to track him down between Sweden and Denmark, we're, if you like, at last chance saloon in terms of getting hold of him. What I want to do is, using Sarah's phone, put a text into his phone with something like, battery went down earlier, missed flight, getting on now, are you still going to be able to pick me up, due in at whatever time? And that'll entice him out of the airport for the purpose of us nicking him at the airport. And this is, if you like, a last chance opportunity to get him. So if you can get some urgent enquiries as to what the next flight is.
Yeah, okay.
From UK to Copenhagen, right. And then we can get the phone back on and get a text out.
The plan is set in motion.
Well, they won't be on the flight, but he won't know that. Okay. And they were going to arrive at 22:35. So
an hour into Amsterdam.
She's just about. We were talking about 7 o'clock for the text to go, really, aren't we? 10 minutes before she leaves, more or less.
Just make sure you got the right European times, because he's not stupid, obviously.
I want to try and send a text message from Sarah's phone, which is a devious thing to do, but sometimes you've got to be a bit like that to catch a deviant. You've got to be a deviant. So I want to send a text as if she's now on a flight and she missed her earlier flight, to try and draw him out to pick her up at the airport. But of course what will happen is hopefully it will draw him out and we'll be there at the airport to bring him into custody.
Detective James Clancy is dispatched to Copenhagen. Next time, the hunt for one of Abreu's money launderers.
Go. Have a car. Can I tell you that I'm arresting on suspicion of conspiracy to defraud and money laundering.
So he's arrested for?
Conspiracy to defraud.
And what do you do for a job?
I'm currently unemployed.
Sorry?
I'm currently unemployed.
Okay.
I'll wash your money in £1,000 in his pocket and he's done nothing to work for it.
In Spain, detectives uncover the nerve centre of Abreu's operation.
Notes of contacts, notes of who was working for him, and details of high-value transactions as well. We're looking between 10 and 20 million, and that can change on a daily basis.
The elusive multi-million-pound fraudster is welcomed back to Britain.
Our suspicion is that a lot of British victims have become British victims because of you and your criminality.
The UK is a hostile environment for fraudsters. Do not come here and commit your crime.
And detectives have the difficult task of telling the victims what's happened to their money.
I'm afraid there is no good news there, to be honest, but we're trying our best.
For them, it's over, it's finished, and they will live in poverty. So each day, when they wake up, it'll be one of the first things they realise, because their life has changed forever.